So today, I've got more information for you regarding Star Wars Battlefront 2, and it's all about multiplayer gameplay. A massive thank you to Elliot, or Battlefront Updates as you might know him. He's the guy who's let me take all of this information, and was also kind enough to send me the concept art that he got from a behind-the-scenes panel at Star Wars Celebration. Make sure you go and check out his channel. It's linked at the top of the description. Go say hello to him, tell him Westie sent you, and you can expect some videos in the future with both of us in them. Make sure you stay tuned for more info on that. But without further ado, let's break into this information. I've tried to keep the list fairly simple to listen to, but all of it is relevant to the multiplayer for combat and gameplay that we're going to see in Battlefront 2. First of all, we're going to start with the pickups. This was probably one of the most, controversial features of the first game. DICE are moving away from these, and they're implementing a new system. This means that you'll have opportunities for skilled players and normal players to become heroes, and they won't have to rely on finding a pickup on the map somewhere. Vehicle pickups are gone as well, and you'll need to pick vehicles before you spawn in. So it's kind of similar to how Battlefield does things. The whole system is now life-based, so you spawn in as something, and you will continue to be that thing until you die. You still won't be able to exit vehicles during gameplay either. You simply have to stay in until you're shot down or the round finishes. So there's no taking off and there's no landing. I'm a little bit disappointed about that, as it would be really cool to bail out of a crashing ship and then continue on as a trooper on the ground. But according to Dennis Branval, who is the design director on Battlefront 2, there isn't much need for it within the gameplay system that they've created. I guess we'll need to wait and see a little bit of gameplay before we can really see how that's implemented. There will be a few pickups that remain, however, things like the smart rocket, but no further information was given by Dennis. Again, I think we're going to have to wait for some proper gameplay to be shown at EA Play in June. Second thing, the combat system has been improved overall, and apparently hero combat is much better than what it used to be. There's slicker movement in general, and there will be new animations for when you get hit as a hero by damage, so there should be no more of that locking animation if you take big damage from another hero and you kind of can't move for a couple of seconds. That was a big slowdown in the first game. It felt really jarring during the combat, and according to Dennis, it was due to the Frostbite engine having to use some older Battlefield code for that particular scenario. And that's now been completely rewritten and curated for Battlefront 2. So overall, the combat and the gameplay should feel a little bit more fluid, a little bit more slick. Next big thing on the list, the blasters. They've seen some significant changes moving into Battlefront 2. One of the highlight things that Dennis said, ADS and hipfire handling is now different in this game. And the blasters have been set to be much harder to master, but still easy to use and easy for players who aren't 100% sure of what they're doing the first time they play the game. A big complaint from the original was that it was just simply too easy to use the blasters, and they had no skill curve. You could simply pick it up, use it, and you became a master at it instantly. They've taken that feedback on, and they've tried to make them feel more unique and challenging to use overall. Dennis said they still want the game to be approachable for lots of different gamers, but they've tried to strengthen the gunplay overall and remove the casual label that the original game got. Until we see some gameplay again and get some impressions, I can't really say for sure how far DICE have gone with these changes, but at least hearing it from the developers that they've made these changes gives me hope that the gunplay is more challenging and rewarding in this game. There will be no partner or squad system in Battlefront 2, but DICE have something else to encourage team play. It's hard to really guess what that system could be, considering most other shooters use that kind of system, and the previous game did have a partner system in it, but apparently they're going to show it off soon during the gameplay. We have no details on what it's going to be, so we'll just have to wait and see. In terms of customization for the game, there will be a lot of it according to the developers, both in terms of cosmetics and gameplay as well. But Dennis didn't go into detail because that's something they're going to reveal further down the line. Regarding specific characters on specific planets, again, no real detail was given, but Dennis did confirm that we can expect to see characters we know on planets that they come from. He just didn't say specifically what those planets and those characters would be. Two quick things in a row here. The thermal imploder is definitely going to be in the next game. Apparently Dennis's response to the question was, why would we get rid of it? And as for the jump pack, that's still in Battlefront 2, but it will now be an item that only specific characters will have access to. That sounds like the jump pack spam in the first game is having a lid put on it. Destruction? Well, you can expect some of it. Dennis said they don't really feel it fits into the Battlefront universe the way it does in the Battlefield franchise. It won't be dynamic, but there will be some elements of destruction during gameplay. That almost sounds like they're trying to integrate the destruction into the levels they've created, a little bit like what Battlefield 4 did with its Levolution events. Again, we need gameplay to really see what this means. Hero balancing was a big talking point during the original Battlefront game as well. In this new one, rock, paper, scissors will be adopted as a method of balance, and this is something that DICE use in their Battlefield franchise. This means that some heroes' abilities will be much more powerful against some other heroes, but then they might not be very powerful at all against others. Everything should have some sort of counter to it across all of the heroes that you can choose, and so an overall balance is created for the gameplay. This is to stop incidents that occurred in the previous game, where sometimes after a patch a hero might be really powerful against everyone else, and then it would take a few months for them to fix what they kind of broke with the update. And so more care has been taken this time around. It also means that you as the player need to pay attention to what heroes the enemy team has active during the match, and then maybe pick a hero for your team that's going to help counter those a lot better. There's an element of tactics now involved in the hero combat. Going back to the blasters really quickly, as well as them having a bit more of a skill curve now, you will be able to customize them far more than you could in the previous game. Now, nothing's been confirmed, but the pre-order bonuses of Battlefront 2 seem to suggest attachments for your blaster. So maybe you can put attachments on or take other things off, and that will change how your blaster performs. Nothing confirmed, but you will definitely be able to customize your blaster more than you could before. In terms of progression, all of the troopers, the heroes, and the ships will have their own progression paths, but they will all follow a similar system. You'll rank them up separately, but you won't need to learn 3 different methods of progression within the game. This sounds like each trooper class, each hero, and each ship will have its own progression path, and that means you can spend a lot more time in the game leveling up, improving your characters, and then earning items to keep things interesting. It seems like they really did listen to the big complaints of the last title. And lastly, cross-era gameplay. Apparently Dennis didn't give a straight answer to this question, but he did say it's one of the hardest decisions they've had to make when it comes to designing Battlefront 2. Do you want clones and First Order troopers fighting on the same map that was set during a battle in the original trilogy? It's a question that will be answered in the future, but for now, we're going to have to wait and see. All of the signs are pointing to EA Play as the next point in the future that we're going to find out more about Battlefront 2. So just over 6 weeks or so, and we should know far more about this game than we do right now, or at least get some context to the information that we've got today. And it should be your first chance to see if the game is really something that you want to get involved with. We've got all this cool information, all this concept art, all of this idea about all the content that we're going to be getting, but no gameplay to back it up. And really, that's an important point before you make your decision about this game. But thanks very much for watching. A massive thank you to Elliot from Battlefront Updates again for letting me share all this information and giving me the concept art that he had access to. Make sure you check out his channel. It's linked at the top of the description. Let me know what you think about this all down below in the comments section. A lot of information to process, and still probably a lot of people on the fence about this game. But until next time, my name is Westie, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.